All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back and welcome to the final episode of the 32-minute podcast launch. Just give me a heads up that my sound is audible so I can carry on with the session. And we have a very special guest with us today who's waiting to come on the show. So I'll just wait for a couple of comments. Once I give a heads up, I'm going to start with the program. Right, loud and clear. That's how it is. So thank you so much, Megha Sharma, for the heads up. So today on our show, in the final episode, we have none other than Dr. Moez Khakiani, who has been really busy. In fact, he's jumping in from one session to the other session without any time. He just joined me literally 30 seconds back, and he's waiting backstage so that I can invite him. Let's not wait any further and call my dear friend Dr. Moez on the show.
Hi, Mayor. Absolute pleasure to be on your 32-minute podcast launch event. Congratulations, my friend, to you and everyone involved in this fabulous process. I wish the establishment the very, very, very best.
Well, thank you so much for joining, and you've been on your toes quite literally today.
Yeah, it's been an enjoyable day because most days these days are यार आज दिन में करूँ क्या मैं and today was one of those where I'm like अबे वक्त कहाँ से लाऊं मैं आज but I'm glad I could make it here in time for the launch event.
Very honestly, I'm just happy that you're there because just a couple of seconds back, I wasn't sure if you'll be able to join on time because I believe you were in a special FMR event that was organized by Dentoscope, which went on
Correct.
pretty well. A blockbuster
Right,
event,
right.
right? Right.
Right. So
So
we
this
had a
is
panel discussion where there were more questions than what we had initially
anticipated.
bargained for. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of a 1 hour panel discussion, we kind of doubled the quota there, which
Right.
means I have had to make a spring in surprise for you here. But
Right.
I'm feeling as good as ever, or all energetic, all charged up for this live podcast.
Right. I'm quite well versed with your energy because I've spent a lot of time behind the clinical fix prosthodontics that we've been working on for so many months together. So for people who do not know,
Right.
let
Right.
me officially introduce Dr. Moez to all of you all. So Dr. Moez is a practicing dentist in Mumbai. He has done his graduation from the DY Patil University School of Dentistry. That's what it's called now. He is my senior by 2 years, if I'm not wrong. Yeah,
2 years. Correct.
and he has pursued post graduation in prosthodontics in M.A. Rangunwala College of Dental Sciences, that's in Pune.
Pune.
He is an extremely passionate prosthodontist, and he's self-driven. Uh, that's the key aspect of his personality, and he loves what he does, and he gets carried away by that. And we are so grateful that you are so passionate about prosthodontics because not only do you pursue good prosthodontics, but you are a great mentor by yourself. In fact,
Thank you.
I've mentioned this particularly in the email that has gone out today that you are not only a good prosthodontist but a great mentor, and this combination is really difficult to get. It's not necessary that every good clinician can be a good mentor, but you're quite an exception. So I'm really glad that you are on the show.
That's very kind of you, my friend, and that admiration is mutual. When we look up to you and for the photography skills and that you hold, and the fact that you have this ability to go down to the level of every individual who's probably held their DSLR for the first time and take them to a pro level. The love and admiration could be nothing more than mutual, my friend.
It's awesome to have you. So since we are talking about clinical fixed prosthodontics, it's important for our listeners and today even the viewers to know that Dr. Moez and I are going to be conducting a series of podcasts
Right,
episodes
right.
that are going to be like individual, you can say, audio episodes of his book that's Clinical Fix Prosthodontics. So it's going to be an add-on for all of you all, so people can listen to it while driving, while working, or even while doing a particular case. It's going to be beneficial to all of you all. So I'm looking at a long series of podcast episodes with you, Dr. Moez.
Absolutely, Mayur. We've had some lovely times scripting the book and coming up with the documentation for the same, and I can't wait. I cannot wait to put all of that out in the form of an audiobook, if I may call it, for everyone
That's
who logs in and makes time to hear the two of us interact more than teach or talk. We want to be as casual yet as clinical as we possibly can.
right. That's so important. And in fact, nowadays everybody's getting more and more busier. So an audiobook could be a great accessible option for all of them. So for people
Right.
who are not
Absolutely.
really aware of what the 32-minute podcast is, so a 32-minute podcast is basically a podcast for the dentists. So we are planning to release one episode every Sunday. That's every week starting today. And it's great to have you on the show. So you might be asking or having questions, where is this particular podcast? So the 32-minute podcast is there on Apple, is there on Spotify. So, and one more thing of Apple is that it's not important or not vital for anybody to have an iPhone or a Mac to access these podcasting episodes. So even if you are an Android user, you can go ahead and access all the Apple podcast episodes that we are going to be uploading. We already have quite a lot of stuff all on the podcast. We are also there on Spotify, we are there on Google Podcasts. But there's one special thing that I want all of you all who are attending right now to be a part of is the Telegram group. So what we are going to do is each and every time we upload an episode on Apple, Google, Spotify, or other platforms like even Ghana, we are going to update all the people who are there on this particular Telegram group. I'll be sharing a link of this group on the chat later today. There's one more thing that I'm going to be doing to encourage people to listen to podcasts more and more, and that is by the way of some exciting contests. So, for example, we have something called as the choice of voice contest. So, for example, if Moez and I are doing an episode together, and that episode is for 30 minutes. What I'm going to do is I'm going to be extracting a small part of that episode, and I'm going to be keeping it anonymous, and I'm going to be uploading it on my social media platforms. And it's up to the listener to guess who is the speaker, who's there in that particular trailer, you can say, of that particular episode. So it could be Moise, it could be Dr.
Wow.
Vivek Hegde, or it could be Dr. Ashwin Zavdekar. We've already finished two contests like that. And yesterday we announced one winner. Yesterday, we had uploaded a voiceover by Dr. Ashwin Zavdekar, and we announced the winner over there. And it's now time for me to announce the winner of the second choice of voice contest. For people who do not know, so we had uploaded this the day before yesterday, and the audio was by Dr. Vivek Hegde. So that was the right answer. And the winner you can see on the screen is Kamala Ganeshan. So if you are watching us live right now, or if you are listening to us, do connect with us so that my staff can send across the free gift to you. It's just an initiative from my side to encourage people to listen to more and more podcasts, because that's going to be the future of it's like education and entertainment at the same time.
Fantastic.
Right.
So heartiest
So coming
congratulations
to,
to the winner. Keep doing this. Keep
yeah, yeah.
supporting. Keep enjoying. Keep learning. And remember, we're in this together. Tough times, good times. We stand together. We walk together. That is what we humans do.
Right, absolutely. So today's topic in the final session of our podcast launch event is by Dr. Moez Kakian, and the topic is material options in prosthodontics, right?
Correct.
So
That
the
is the
first thing
first
that
chapter of our
this is the
book,
first
Mayur.
chapter of our book.
Yes. So
Absolutely.
we're going to kind of go in a sequence where we can make sure that you guys stay connected with us through the entire process. Because remember, prosthetic dentistry is all about a chain of steps. It's not like
Right.
single visit endo, where you have one single contact. It's always multi appointment procedure with multiple individual steps. So our conscious attempt here is to cater to each of these individual steps as we move forward to make sure that we can answer as many concerns or questions as you have in a clinical and a very relevant and a simplistic manner. So stay with us and keep supporting 32-minute podcast.
Right. So let me start with the questions. So we have a lot of options available in Prosto today. So we
Mm-hmm.
have PFM, we have porcelain fused to zirconia, we have lithium disilicate or Emax, we have full metal options, we have metal free options. So what to use for what particular case? So I want to ask you, what is it that you take into consideration primarily, um, and what are the aspects like? Is it the range of edentulous area, or is it the tooth? How much of the tooth structure is remaining? What is it of primary importance for you when you consider a particular choice of material when it comes to prosto
All right,
restorations?
all right. I get that. So, uh, for those who are probably 20, 25, 30 years into practice, I'm sure all of you all relate to the fact that when you guys were thinking of fixed prosthesis, it was all about metal crown or PFM crown. I mean, wasn't life simple because you didn't have too much to choose from? But then remember, there are so many situations where you expect for your patient to get better dentistry than what these prosthetic materials then could offer. Friends, fortunate are we, and I love to say this, fortunate are we to be born in this era where material science has exploded. Right, prosthetic materials today are available in a gamut for us to choose. I'm thinking of this like I go to a restaurant and I have a menu card there to choose from. So Prosto today allows you this fabulous spread of materials to choose from, and this is simply because remember there is no one material fits all. It's just like one size fits all is not something that prosthetic dentistry is all about. It is about choosing the right material for the given clinical situation, right? Which means every patient who walks into your practice needs to be analyzed for what he or she needs and what we as clinicians can deliver, making sure that whatever we do in the patient's mouth survives the test of time. Right. Having said that, let me give you a very simple understanding into my approach when I am choosing a prosthetic material. uh, I'm always thinking about two things in my head, right? If a patient needs a prosthesis, one is called as an abutment preservation approach, the other which is called as the prosthesis preservation approach. And I am always someone who believes in the abutment preservation approach. मतलब क्या है ये सबका? Your patient needs a crown. Let's say, for example, anterior ho या posterior ho, patient needs a crown. You can choose a material that will preserve the underlying tooth structure in such a manner that worst case scenario, the prosthesis will fracture, but it will preserve the underlying tooth. Which means if the prosthesis were to fracture, I can replace the prosthesis for my patient. That is the abutment preservation approach. On the other hand, you have materials that are so strong. I'm not going to label any material here, but materials that are so strong in terms of their mechanical properties that unfortunately they become the stronger link and the underlying prepared tooth becomes the weaker link. And in this scenario, if there is any form of pathofunction, what gives way is the abutment tooth. How often have we heard from a patient saying, Doctor Sahab, cap nikal gaya? And you tell the patient, हाँ हाँ कोई बात नहीं आप आ जाओ मैं चिपका दूंगा, and the patient comes and gives you this happy birthday gift where you see the crown and the entire fractured tooth inside the crown. You can no longer cement this back. This is the death of that tooth. It's time to now replace it with either a bridge or a denture or an implant. This is an unfortunate situation. So what I would want all of you all to start doing is start thinking about the abutment tooth and not just jump into using a restorative material that you are confident ke ye to nahi tutega. That may not be in the patient's best interest. Think anteriors for aesthetics, think posteriors for function. Right, Mayur?
Right. a lot of companies do propagate a hammer hitting on a prosthesis, saying that that is the strongest material. So
Right.
is that the way a dentist has to choose? In other words, do we consider the numerical numbers that go into the making of that material process? In fact, is that really that important? The compressive strength or the tensile strength? How much
Okay.
is that important for you?
So, Mayur, let me put it this way. Uh, there is traffic on the road. Okay. You can either go by a Maruti or a Mercedes. All right. Uh, if you want, you can even buy a Ferrari. What good is that Ferrari with its fantastic speed going to do if there is no place for you to drive? Mechanical values are only denominators that come in if you have ideal scenarios present. And remember, the oral cavity is nothing but ideal, right? It's far from ideal. Okay, so remember, if materials are going to give you 1000, 1200, 1500 megapascals, the oral cavity does not require that kind of strength. Anything that's excess is also not good, correct? So don't hold me by my collar here. I don't intend on taking names, all right? But
Right.
there is this monolithic zirconia material that comes in with a name that resonates bruxism, right? And the
Right.
first thought that
Right.
runs into a clinician's mind is iska naam agar bruxism se hai, so I would want to give it to a bruxer. That material is the last thing you will give a bruxer, right? and
Right.
and and I feel very bad, Mayur, when this material comes in with a 15-year warranty card, राइट? उसको पता है लैब वालों को ये नहीं टूटने वाला, बट पेशेंट के मुंह में दूसरा कुछ ना कुछ टूटेगा दोस्त. इतना इतना याद रखो that the weakest link in the system will give. So if it's not your prosthesis, it could be the underlying tooth, it could be the opposing tooth, it could be some other tooth in the oral cavity, it could be muscle. The worst case scenario is this going into the joint. And I love to say this: the only warranty that comes with this material is a temporomandibular joint disorder. All right. So in the long run, this may not be a sensible decision for a patient. And I would always say stay away from zirconia, especially if you're doing a multi-unit restoration. 3 unit hai to yaar koi wanda nahi. But if you're doing a 4 unit restoration, and even if you've done a monolithic zirconia, I'm sure all of you all have had this scenario where that zirconia fractures. हथौड़े से नहीं टूटता, मुंह में टूटता है. It is not a problem with the strength of the material. It's to do with the connector thickness. Now, I love to say this: zirconia by default is male in nature. All right, it's a very egoistic material. I always say कि zirconia सिपाही है. वो सिर कटा देता है पर झुकता नहीं. Okay, so zirconia, what happens is when you have a long span framework and there are occlusal forces, zirconia does not bend. Why? Because zirconia has fantastic flexural strength, and they sell it to you on the basis of flexural strength, and that's unfortunate because अब जब वो bend नहीं हो रहा, so all the stresses get concentrated in the thinner sections, which is the connector, and that's why you will even see zirconia bridges fracture. So 4 unit and above, please don't even think of zirconia. Please go ahead and do your PFMs. I'm not saying I have something against zirconia, but I am in my head in a very comfortable space that you could probably choose something else, especially if you're doing single unit restorations. Or you could do a zirconia coping with a ceramic layering on top.
Right.
Right? So material options hai yaar hamare paas. It's just for us to apply common sense more than what these laboratories will try to push upon us.
Right. When you spoke about the companies, there are instances now that the patient is coming in and saying, "I want zirconia." That's the funniest thing that marketing has gone in so deep.
Right, absolutely. See, remember two things. One is laboratories make a lot of profit out of zirconia. Their effort in production is half of what it is for a PFM, right?
Right.
And at the
Right.
same time, they are so confident कि आपके crowns नहीं टूटेंगे. So they will start pitching that to you, and probably aggressively, right? So it is up to us to think: would I
Right.
want that restoration in my mouth, And if I don't want it in my mouth, why should I give it to my patient? मैं तो पेशेंट को दे दूंगा, पेशेंट घर चला जाएगा, मैं अपने घर चला जाऊंगा, आई विल गो बैक टू माई लाइफ, बट द पेशेंट हैज टू लिव विद दैट for the rest of his or her life. And I mean, if you want to be honest to yourself, please choose the right prosthetic material for a patient. Don't go by the basis of यार मेरे को EMI भरने का है मेरा, तो आज मैं पेशेंट को जिरकोनिया ही चिपकाऊं, आज मैं पेशेंट को ईमैक्स ही दूंगा. There are certain scenarios where a simple metal crown may be the best thing to do for your patient. So please advise what is right for the patient and not what is right for your pocket.
Right. Let me be a little bit more direct, and it might be a little difficult for you to answer. What is the percentage of zirconia that you are doing in your practice? In fact, why is it zirconia? Can you just give a cutout of how much of percentage is zirconia in your practice? How much is Emax? How much is full metal? And how much is PFM? And what do you prefer for what cases? If you don't mind answering that.
Oh, sure, absolutely. Okay, so let me tell you, the least will be a metal or a PFM based restoration. Okay, it's not common for me to prescribe that to my patient unless it's a multi unit scenario, and I know something like a CAD CAM PFM or what is famously called as a DMLS, that is direct metal laser sintering, which is a true CAD CAM restoration, is going to fit best and is going to survive the test of time. Only and only in those scenarios, and especially for posteriors, would I want to give my patient a PFM. All right. Now I know of a lot of people who will tell me, लेकिन sir PFM सस्ता है, अगर मैं zirconia या Emax करता हूँ तो बहुत महंगा पड़ता है. Now it's all a matter of thought process, you know. Let's just put some simple numbers here that are pertinent to the Indian subcontinent at least. If I'm getting a PFM crown for, say, let's say 800 rupees, and if I'm getting a zirconia crown for, let's say, 1800 rupees, my additional cost is 1000 rupees. But what will I want to charge my patient? I'd want to charge my patient 5000 for it. You may now think of just adding 1000 rupees and giving the patient what is often referred to as a metal-free restoration. Will I choose a zirconia above PFM? Yes. Simply because zirconia does not require as much preparation as PFM does, which means I'm being more conservative of the underlying tooth structure. Having said that, let me point to something that's very funny in dentistry, you know. हम zirconia को हमेशा बोलते हैं ना metal free ceramic है वो. That's not the case. I mean, technically speaking, zirconia is nothing but a white color metal. It's just a hard metal, right? And we call it metal free, which means हम patient को झूठ बोल रहे हैं.
So I'll just give a beep over there.
Beep. you got the emotion and the sentiment here.
Yeah, it's just coming out. It's like hold.
Right.
Yeah.
And what's also funny is we call the silver looking crown, the nickel chrome or the cobalt chrome crown, white metal crown. Jabki zirconia is the true white color metal crown. I mean, we're so botched up in prosto, you know.
Right.
Our definitions have gone completely off the toss. So having said that, remember friends, my first thought process always in terms of a prosthesis is a bondable material. So I'm thinking always in my head, can I give this patient an Emax, right? If I cannot give Emax, I will think of another material. And I always will pitch this to my patient saying, imagine आपको appendix का problem हुआ, all right, and you needed to get the appendix removed. So will you go for an open surgery or will you go for a laparoscopic surgery? And they'll be like, "Arey sir, of course laparoscopic कर देंगे." That's exactly what I'm trying to do with your tooth. I'm trying to conserve your tooth by giving you a partial restoration. लोगों को क्या लगता है, हाफ क्राउन दिया तो उसका कॉस्ट तो कम होना चाहिए ना, बिकॉज उसमें सिरेमिक कम यूज हुआ. It's unfortunately not that. Right? Remember, lab costs for Emax and zirconia are fairly similar. In fact, Emax कई बार सस्ता पड़ता है, at least lab costs से. But remember, if you're conserving tooth structure on the biological front, you are being much more conservative for your patient. And उसमें advantage क्या होता है ना मयूर, के worst case scenario अगर वो Emax crown या prosthesis को कुछ हुआ ना, you can always come back and do a zirconia if need be.
Right.
correct? Because the preparation protocols are fairly similar. I wouldn't say the same, but it's fairly similar ballpark. So I'd say
Right.
about 15 tending towards a 20% in my practice would be zirconia,
Okay.
especially if it's bridge work. But the vast majority of work that I do is always enamel preservation in the form
Right.
of partial bonded Emax prosthesis.
All right. I got the point. So basically, you're saying you try to do Emacs as much as possible, but when it comes to bridges, you prefer zirconia over PFM. Can I put it like that?
Uh, 3 unit bridge, I would prefer to do a zirconia over PFM. But if it's more than 2 pontics, I would not even consider zirconia, even if the lab gives me a 15-year warranty, because I know eventually kabhi na kabhi wo tootega. Now
Right.
imagine if there is a 4 unit zirconia bridge against a cast partial denture, then you're not worried, because
Mm-hmm.
that cast partial ka force vectors are not going to be as heavy. But if you have the natural dentition
Right.
opposing,
Mm-hmm.
guys, please stay away from 4 unit, 5 unit zirconias.
Yeah.
They will come back and bite you in times to come, and your patient then loses trust in you. Especially
Right.
because लैब वाला
Right.
बोलता है नहीं सर, अभी सिरामिक अभी zirconia नहीं कर पाएंगे, अब हमने पीएफएम देना पड़ेगा, तो भाई साहब पहले ही पीएफएम देते.
And I think particularly the long span bridges have gone down quite radically. What is your opinion on that? We are not doing any more 5 units and stuff like that. Uh,
Correct,
what
correct, and I'm so
right? We have
glad that is
implants.
the case. Yeah, today, because a lot of implant companies are also aggressively pushing their implants, just like how laboratories are pushing zirconia. So
Mm-hmm.
if you are confident and competent with what you are doing, please go ahead and decrease the length of the edentulous span,
Right. Right.
because
Right.
the greater the span, the greater is the complexity and the possibility of failure in the years to come. So either do a cast partial denture there, which is a fantastic tool, believe me, for the long run, or place your implants. But try to stay away from the temptation of doing a long span bridge. I know it's difficult, because that's what I love about prosto the most, Mayur. हम प्रिपेयर
Mm-hmm.
2 दांत करते हैं, लेकिन 3 या 4 का पैसा लेते हैं. But
It's actually complicated to do long span because adjustments are a lot. It's always better to resort to implants. I totally agree with that.
correct,
So I
correct.
want to reinforce your statement at this point of time. I probably uh, want to take the freedom of sharing my screen and showing the audience a statement that is in his book, that's Clinical Fix Prosthodontics, in which he states that in choosing the processes type and material used, clinical judgment should lean over mechanical denominators and mathematical figures, ensuring that each clinical decision is case specific and not dictated by commercial or financial interest. It's such a deep statement, and I totally respect that.
Mayur, there's a world in it, my friend. The entire world of fixed prosthodontics lies in those 3 lines, and I couldn't be happier with how self-explanatory and
Hmm.
kind of compulsive in a sense those statements come across. I don't mean to be harsh to anyone, but if you are not abiding by these, friends, you would want to question what have you done in dentistry, and how would you want to continue as times go by, because these are tough and unprecedented times that we all face, and it's all about trust and faith that will drive dentistry as time moves across.
Right. So we spoke about the earlier division of prosthetic materials in your practice, but since you prefer bonding more, I would probably want to restrict it even more now. Uh, how much do you prefer multi-layered, and how much do you prefer monolithic?
Okay, so I'm not personally a very big fan of multi-layered. All right, I'm
Okay.
more of a monolithic person, especially if it's a posteriors, because monolithic will give you the desired strength that is needed for an individual to function, whilst you sleep peacefully, knowing that nothing's going to go wrong with that restoration. All right. The only
Right.
time I would
Right.
think of layering, Mayur, is for an anterior incisal edge.
True.
Remember, the advantage of monolithic is strength. The disadvantage of monolithic is aesthetics. So if I'm using a
Right.
monolithic restoration for, say, a central incisor, I will ask my technician to do an incisal cutback and then layer that
Right.
incisal edge with feldspathic porcelain. Because
Mm-hmm.
feldspathic porcelain may not give me strength, but will give me the aesthetics at the incisal edge. And that is
Right.
what nature demands, right? If you can give your patient the beautiful halo and match it to the adjacent tooth, that incisal translucency, the mamelon effect, make the patient look youthful, especially if it's a smile design case. You've won that patient over, my friend. And once you win that patient, you've won the family, you've won the patient's friend circles,
Yeah.
and you're not going to live by the referrals that come from successful cases. Uh, Dr. Sandesh
Right.
Maikar, if I may quote him here, very early, this was in the year of 2007 when I was running the ENCODE course with him. He
Mm-hmm.
mentioned a happy patient, Moez, will speak to 10 people, but an unhappy
Right.
patient will speak to 100 people. Right? So don't think in terms of mere paas itne patients hai. Let's count our success on the basis of number of happy patients that we have as against ones that are not happy with what we've done for them.
Right. Right. By feldspathic porcelain is the same porcelain that goes on PFM, right? If that's the
That that
same
is
one.
that is that is correct.
So
That
you
is correct.
prefer
The
more
same
translucent
powder,
over.
that's for the incisal edge. So
Yep.
what happens with PFMs for posterior is metal coping is strong. As a matter of fact, even if it's zirconia, all right, zirconia coping is strong, but the layering, which could be an Emax porcelain, it has maximum of about 100 120 megapascal strength. तो कई बार क्या होता है, zirconia coping नहीं टूटती, metal coping नहीं टूटता, but ऊपर का ceramic chip होता है. But let's understand यार दोस्त कि अगर ceramic chip हुआ तो वो भी failure ही है ना.
Hmm. Hmm.
Correct?
Hmm.
PFM, it hurts because the metal shows through. In zirconia, unfortunately, patients don't even realize that it's chipped unless there is a sharp edge because it just looks tooth color still, right? So,
Right. Right. Would you want to say that you prefer PFZ over PFM?
yes, I would prefer a PFZ over PFM where it is indicated. I would prefer a PFM over a PFZ where I am scared that my underlying coping might fracture, which is what I addressed earlier in the form of a bridge. Which means in my head I'm thinking if it's a long span bridge, I'm going to do
Mm-hmm.
PFM.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a terminal molar, let's say for example you have a patient who has a pretty broken down dentition, right?
Mm-hmm.
And request कि भाई सर ये एक टूथ में रूट कनाल हुआ, इसमें मुझे क्राउन चाहिए. If you want to stabilize the dentition, कई बार क्या होता है टर्मिनल मोलर पे हमें क्लियरेंस नहीं मिलती. So in
Mm-hmm.
those situations, feel free to go ahead and give the patient a monolithic metal or a monolithic zirconia. The advantage with these is they are strong in thinner cross sections. So you may not land up reducing the tooth height so much कि भाई crown अब बार बार निकल रहा है. So a monolithic zirconia in that situation may work fine, but in most other situations, think in terms of a PFZ or a PFM, and wherever possible, think in terms of an Emax. Yes, it is a little technique sensitive because we have to treat the ceramic, we have to treat the tooth, we need a resin cement, we may need isolation, we may need rubber dam. But believe me, friends, if you do this for your patients, it's like an investment that you're doing into your future. This patient who has been served by you will come back to bless you in manners that we can never imagine. So when patients come in and say, डॉक्टर साहब इतने सारे पेशेंट हैं आपके पास, भाई आप ही के वजह से तो है. It is because you were happy that you sent me so many more.
Right. Right. So, what are the material options that you choose when you have your clearances which are less? So that's Emax, right?
As a matter of fact, नहीं मयूर, अगर क्लियरेंस कम है ना, तो I would think of a monolithic metal or a monolithic zirconia. All right. If I'm doing a full coverage, if it's an endodontically treated tooth, and I believe that the clearance is less, which is common for let's say an upper seven, because upper seven में कैसे होता है कि tooth height buccally, mesially, palatally अच्छी होती है, but distally because you have the tuberosity that comes down, you have hardly any tooth height there. तो कई बार margin preparation दिखती नहीं है वहां पे. So you're always fearful कि वो crown निकल आएगा. In this scenario, friends, I want all of you all to start thinking in terms of doing an endo crown, right? Which is an occlusal porcelain with the core material being actually a part of your restoration, which means हमने जहां पे access opening किया ना, हमने composite नहीं भरना. We will leave it empty. and make an impression so that the laboratory technician can design a restoration uh, that extends into that chamber, and at the same time creates an occlusal dome, right? So from the dome and from the peripheral ring of enamel, friends, you get your macro retention through bonding, and from that dome extension you get your micro retention. And the advantage is these preparations don't need any axial reduction, which means अब crown decementation वगैरह का डर जरा भी नहीं रहता. So start thinking in terms of this endo crown, and remember, you cannot do an endo crown in metal, you can't do an endo crown in zirconia. Only and only can it be done in lithium disilicate. It has to be bonded.
Right, absolutely. So we have already crossed the 30-minute mark. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly
Wow.
switch over to the audience questions. Although I had a lot of questions to ask, but we have a lot of questions from the audience. So I'm going to be putting up all the questions
I think
now.
I speak a lot, Mayur.
Ah, it's good. It was really good. So there are a lot of interesting questions from the audience. In fact, I translated some of them into my questions, especially endodontically treated too. So,
Let's shoot them. Let's
right.
have them, please.
So, Chaitra, so what's partial bonded Emax? That's, I think
What's
you just
partial
covered that.
bonded Emax? Okay, let me just bring this into perspective for them. Uh, Remember, जब हम crown या bridge dentistry करते हैं, तो everything is about retention and resistance form. Okay, so you need parallelism between your preparations. Okay, uh, partial bonded simply means you don't cover all five surfaces of the tooth. You may cover one, two, three, four, two and a half, three and a half, three quarters, something like that. So it is all about taking portion of the tooth structure away that either has been destroyed by nature or by carious process. So you only remove weakened tooth structure, you preserve what is strong. Now, what is the problem with crown preparation? The problem with crown preparation, especially if it's a root canal treated tooth, is सबसे पहले बीच में खड्डा किया है और फिर preparation के लिए पूरा का पूरा enamel निकाल दिया है. बचा क्या है? A thin ring of dentin that's not strong enough to support a restoration, right? So what you should start thinking is preservation, right?
Right.
Remember, we went from amalgam to composite because it's more preservative of underlying enamel. That's exactly what we need to do. Start moving away from full coverage and start doing partial restorations, which are nothing but inlays, onlays, overlays, the very famous tabletops, and of course endocrowns that
Yeah.
that fall into the same gamut. So
Right. So the next question is sometimes zirconia does not bond with the crown. What's the reason?
all right. So zirconia, remember, has to ideally be luted with a GIC or a resin modified GIC. Unfortunately, लोगों को क्या सोचना है, zirconia महंगा है तो cement भी महंगा चाहिए. That's not the case, guys. If you were to lute a zirconia crown with a resin cement, there is a greater possibility that that crown may de-cement, right? And the reason is to do with the phosphates that are present in the oral cavity, right? So if you've done a try-in of your zirconia crown and crown के अंदर अगर saliva लगा है, if you use a resin cement without treating the crown, there is no physical bond between the zirconia and the underlying tooth. So your crown tends to de-cement. So you have two options here. One is either use a GIC or a resin modified glass ionomer for cementing if you have a lot of tooth structure available and you have good retention resistance form. नहीं है और अगर तुम्हें resin cement use करना है तो let's treat the zirconia from inside first. How do you treat the zirconia from inside? There was this beautiful material from Ivoclar. There is rather. It's called IvoClean. It is used to remove these phosphate ions, but it is not easily available and it tends to add expenditure, right? There is a simpler alternative available today. क्या है पता है? क्राउन के अंदर एक एक ऐसा लिक्विड डालो जो हम रूट कनाल ट्रीटमेंट के वक्त इरिगेशन के लिए यूज करते हैं, सोडियम हाइपोक्लोराइड. You put your sodium hypochlorite inside the crown, leave it there for 30 seconds to a minute, wash it away with water, go ahead and put your resin cement and lute it to the underlying tooth structure. नहीं निकलेगा.
Awesome. Awesome. Moving on to the next question. Would you like to see this enamel conservation cases with partial bonded Emax crowns? Yes, I think.
I didn't get you on that, Mayur. Sorry.
Uh, would like to see this enamel conservation cases. It's not a question, so I'm just moving ahead. The next
Okay.
is your
Uh,
choice of Emacs Press versus ECAD for clinical situations. The question by Abhijit Mohanty.
All right, Abhijit, so good to hear you here on this lovely platform. So, if you ask me, for years I used to always think CAD is better than Press. Until recently, there is light on this new literature which says the margin fit with your pressed Emacs is better than what your milled Emacs were to give you. And if a monolithic Emacs is going to give me in pressed form adequate amount of strength, which is anywhere in excess of 350 megapascals, I am tempted towards doing pressed bonded Emacs restorations as compared to milled for posteriors. When it comes to anteriors for conservative restorations, once again, I will choose pressed because these can be made as thin as 0.3 millimeters. What I have realized with most commercial laboratories, if I ask them to make laminates that are milled, the thinnest they can go down to is 0.5, and that may not be what I desire uh, in terms of conservation or aesthetics for my patients. So I am still someone who will tend towards Abhijit saying that whenever possible, think in terms of press Tmax. There is no obvious reason for me to think in terms of a milled CAD block unless I have a chairside system with me and I need to convert this on an ASAP basis for my patient.
Right. So it all comes down to the tooth preparation that you have done. If you want a thinner one, like a point 0.3, I think you would go for a press. But
Correct.
otherwise, it's the other way around.
Correct.
Since there are a lot of youngsters joining us, can you differentiate between the different processes? What's pressing? What is milling? Lost wax and stuff like that. Just in
Okay.
5 minutes.
All right, Mayur, let's start with casting. All right,
Right.
we've all run our heads through this short question, long question, viva question of casting and casting defects, and we all know that there are problems with casting in terms of precision of fit, especially when you're talking about a long span restoration, right? So this is where technology took us to CAD CAM, which classically in the yesteryears was to do with milling, right? Now milling is nothing but you have a block or an ingot, and there is a burr that kind of subtracts the material down to give you the desired form, right? So this is called as subtractive milling. Most commercial laboratories, when they make zirconia or when they make CAD/CAM PFMs, they are using the subtractive technique. Thank you so much for bringing this lovely image up here, Mayur. This kind of very easily differentiates between all the different prosthetic materials that we have. Companies
Right.
will give it their own names, but please don't get confused by those names. If it's a CAD/CAM PFM, it's either milled or it is DMLS. Now, what is DMLS? DMLS is nothing but powdered metal, which is sintered by a very high intensity laser, creating layers of restoration above restoration above restoration, giving you the final desired form. So जैसे मैंने बोला ना ब्लॉक को हम मिल करते हैं तो that is reductive. DMLS is additive.
Additive.
Additive will always have more precision than what is reductive, because reductive हुआ ना उसके बाद it goes into a furnace, all right, for sintering, and there again there will be shrinkage that comes in. So there is greater accuracy with DMLS as compared to milling, but that is only and only possible with PFM or metal or cast partials. If it's zirconia, it is almost always milled in a subtractive manner from a blank or a block.
Right.
Now, if you're talking about Emacs, Emacs is very similar to casting metal. It's just that centrifuge नहीं होता, उसकी जगह एक plunger होता है. All right, so the same process of wax up and burnout of the wax up stays the same, right? Remember all of that. It goes
Right.
into a
Right.
furnace, wax burns out, and you get a mold, and then you push metal into it at high velocity for casting.
Right.
Emacs pressing में क्या होता है? Ingot आता है ceramic का. All right, you melt it at a specific temperature, and then with the help of a piston, you kind of push it down. And as you push it down, it flows in and gives you the desired form that you want for that particular
Right.
design.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Right. So these are the different processes that we have available to choose from, and it's important that we clinicians know this because
Right.
we can then kind of guide the technician कि इस patient के लिए सबसे best क्या होगा.
Right. Right. So all thanks to Abhijit because of his question, we could check that slide out. Moving on to the next question.
Absolutely.
In endodontically treated teeth, is it advisable to give composite onlay or overlay? Resins.
Uh, yes, why not? Why not? Uh, remember, Dr. Renu, if it's an endodontically treated tooth, it's important that you cap all the cusps. All right. So don't think in terms of going just with an inlay. Make at least an
Right.
overlay. All right, or a crown lay, which covers the entire occlusal surface. Now, what's the advantage of doing composite? Composite is the best shock absorber that you can have in the oral cavity. Composite will never wear the adjacent opposing tooth or the adjacent tooth. Okay? Composite by itself may wear away over time or may fracture. But you know what the beauty about composite is? Intraoral repair is possible. You don't have to now retrieve something or send it to the laboratory. Extra kharcha nahi hota. You can very well do it chair side with bonding agent and your regular chair side composites. What I would love for you to do in such
Right.
scenarios is something called as semi-direct restorations. That's again something that we have in the book. It's done outside the mouth on a flexible dye material. This is a material
Right.
called as dye silicone. It's available from Voco. Please check it out. It's a fabulous way of making indirect composite restorations because you
Right.
can even heat treat it. And heat treatment is far more important than just light curing because it improves the mechanical properties of the restoration exponentially.
Right. Right. So I am going to be skipping a couple of questions which are there on cementation. I hope you don't mind it because we'll conduct a different session altogether for cementation. Let me just stick to the prosto material. So the next question is by Abhishek. What's your take on laser sintered prefabricated composite crowns such as Edelweiss or monolithic crowns for endodontically treated teeth? Laser sintered.
All right. Abhishek, quick question here. Is Mysore your city or your middle name? Um, I mean, just a thought here. Okay, let's answer your question. So, uh, Edelweiss is something that will give you prefabricated copings for laminates and occlusion VDs for your posteriors. Okay. Now, if you ask me, will I make something customized to the patient, or will I use something that's prefabricated and then customized to the patient? I'd say I'll go with the former. I'd want to customize it directly for the patient. I'm not someone who enjoys the direct indirect component. It's like 42 साइज का शर्ट है लेकिन मुझे तो 43 चाहिए तो मैं थोड़ा सा इधर सिलाई खोलूं या इधर से थोड़ा टाइट कर दूं. I mean, I'm not someone who believes in that. So I would always prefer to do the direct, semi-direct, or the indirect technique. But not use a prefabricated shell and then kind of attempt to customize it for the patient uh, purely from a perspective of personal comfort and the quality of the end result that I would be able to give my patient. I'm a mere mortal, friends. I enjoy indirect work more because I can now depend on my technician who's so beautifully skilled to work in the comfort of a laboratory. If I have to do that in the mouth, uh, with my ability of using composites, I personally don't enjoy that, and that's why I prefer to stay away from these.
Right, right. So that's all we have time for this session. So there are a couple of questions
We
on
have to
how
answer
to get the
Kiran.
book.
We have to answer Kiran.
Yeah, I'll
Yes.
just I'm going to be answering that for you. So that's where you can email, you can get in touch with Dr. Moise, and you can order it, or you can directly go to his website as well. And I think it's
Please.
available on Amazon also, if I'm not wrong.
It's available on Amazon. It's available on Dental Cart. It's available on mikdental.in. And if I may
Right.
go aloud and express to all the viewers, just yesterday we announced this new coupon code which can be applied. It's called TDA 500. I'm going to repeat that, TDA 500. That automatically will give you a 500 rupee concession for the book. This is valid only till 12 o'clock. That's till midnight today. This is a part of another webinar, friends, that we were doing on full mouth rehabilitation, and that's why that coupon code is specifically available for you to take advantage of.
Right. So Kiran is thanking you, and we have a
Sweet of
response
you.
from Abhishek
That
Mysore.
answer. It's your family name.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
Awesome. Nice.
That's
Nice.
lovely.
So,
That's lovely.
so
That's lovely. Thank you. Thank you for that reply, Abhishek. Appreciate it, man.
right. Right. So it was a great session, Moez. A lot of things to discuss, and I believe we are going to be discussing it further in our podcast. So what we are going to do is we are going to continue this amazing journey of discussions and conversations with each other on our podcast on Apple, Google, as well as Spotify. So I request all of the viewers to go to Apple, Google, and Spotify and subscribe to our channel. And I'll be looking forward to see all of you all in the podcasting platforms. I'll just hand over the last few words to Dr. Moyes. Then I can probably. There are a lot of things coming on even now. A lot of comments, compliments. But yeah, a
Lovely.
last word from
Lovely.
you before we end the session, Moyes.
All right, guys. It is heartwarming to see that, like what the Western world does, Mayur in India has started this concept of hearing, and not just seeing. We've all been through a journey of webinars together, and we need to stay glued to our screens in order to pay attention. Imagine you're riding your car, you're cooking, you're playing with your kids, you're having lunch, dinner. You could be on the pot, as a matter of fact. It doesn't matter what you're doing or where you are. All you
Right.
need is your earphone in, and a little bit of brain space, and you can learn so much
Right.
from what life has taught us, and we have been glad to learn from the best. And I'm most grateful to Mayur that he gives me this platform and this opportunity to share that little bit of knowledge that I have with you. And I bid you a goodbye in the hope, desire, and expectation that this journey together will continue for not miles, but years to come. Thank you so very much, everyone, for your patient hearing. Thank you once again, Mayur. Stay safe, stay happy until we meet again. Adios.
Right. It was awesome. So that completes the entire 2 day, 32-minute podcast launch event. Thanks a ton to everybody who's joined us, be it on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter. Our last request is to go and subscribe to the channel. That's the 32 minute. It's there on Apple, it's there on Spotify, and it's there on Google as well. So I'll be looking forward to see you in the forthcoming episodes of the podcast where we're going to be interviewing some of the best dentists of the world, and the series with Moise is also going to continue. Thank you so much once again to all of you all, and I'll be looking forward to see you next on the podcasting platforms. Bye bye.